Thanks for joining us here on 9 News Watch for some dramatic news that has just come into us. We have a verdict in the case of Alex Ewing, who is charged in the murders of the 1984 brutal murders of Deborah and Bruce Bennett and their 7-year-old daughter, Melissa. Now joining us for more on this, and the verdict has just come in, is the 9 News Director of Investigative Journalism, Nicole Vapp. And Nicole, the verdict has just come in. If you don't mind reading that and giving us a little bit of initial insight about the verdict.
Sure. I just got a text from Kevin, who's in the courtroom. This is not televised live, or we're not able to have a camera in the courtroom, but it is guilty on all 6 counts. So this is in the murder of Bruce and Deborah Bennett and their daughter, Melissa. It's been kind of a back and forth couple of days getting to this. We yesterday had the jury come back after 3.5 hours. Saying that they couldn't reach an agreement, that they were stymied for some reason. They didn't elaborate on that. The judge sent them home and said, "We're just going to try again tomorrow. Let's get some sleep and see what happens." And they had been they were back at it at 8:30 this morning. They took a lunch break, came back from lunch, and then said they had a verdict. So when they initially came back into the courtroom after they said they would have a verdict, the defense team tried again to ask for a mistrial. I wasn't in the courtroom, so I don't know kind of what went back and forth with the defense team and the prosecution and the judge, but obviously they finally read the verdict and it was guilty on all 6 counts.
Point in all this, after especially considering how long of a break, as you mentioned, the jury deliberated at least 8 or 9 hours here, Nicole, but they did eventually reach a verdict. Obviously, this is going to be first and foremost some potential justice here for the Bennett family.
You know, it's been 37 very long years, and Connie Bennett, who has been in the courtroom every day, we've interviewed her multiple times. It's been a long couple of years for her, but she wanted to be there in the courtroom. She was there in the courtroom as they described the crime scene. They showed video of the crime scene photos, and she's 88 years old now. So I'm sure this is a relief, but she said that there's not a day that goes by that she doesn't think about the horrible things. She's the one who went into the house and found her family, found her son dead on the floor after being beaten to death with a hammer. So this is a long time coming for Connie.
And Nicole, I guess something that turning our attention more towards the case itself. Now, this was a DNA case, a largely DNA case.
Mm-hmm.
This was a cold case until DNA identified Alex Ewing as the potential suspect about 3 years ago. And I know I'm asking you to speculate a little bit here. What do you think happened? What was the deliberation within the jury about whether or not about the verdict here?
Right. Well, obviously I'm not a juror in this case, but they did ask a lot of questions about the way that evidence was handled. I mean, it was 1984 when these murders happened. Things have come a long way. As Kevin's been reporting in court and in his reporting, he's discovered that there was not so very clean atmosphere at that crime scene. A lot of the police officers weren't wearing gloves. They were handling evidence. There was a tour that happened a couple days later. They threw some bloody clothes and a towel into a hamper and touched it. So there was, crime scene work and evidence handling has come a long way since 1984. So, and back then there was no DNA, they didn't know about DNA. There wasn't a way to map it. And so, they saved parts of the crime scene. They saved the carpet that was underneath Melissa, the 7-year-old girl who was found dead in the house, and a blanket that was covering her up. Both of those had DNA on it, and they linked that DNA back to Alex Ewing. He was in prison at the time, and when they were able to name him, he was in prison in Nevada. And on a completely different charge there, a case where he attacked a family, a wife and a husband, terribly attacked them. He almost died. She was very beaten up. Their children were not touched. They had two children in the house at the time, but he was convicted and he had been serving all this time. The thing about
All right. Well,
Nevada,
with that, we are having. We want to kind of get back to this here in just a couple minutes' time. So, again, we do have the verdict that has just come in that Alex Ewing is guilty on all charges in the 1984 brutal murders of Deborah and Bruce Bennett and their 7-year-old daughter Melissa. So that just into us. We'll have more continued coverage on this here over the next few minutes. But again, Alex Ewing guilty on all charges. Thanks for joining us here on 9 News Watch.
thank you.